NXT presented their second episode on the USA Network this week, and their last to go unopposed on Wednesday nights. AEW Dynamite kicks off on TNT next week, and NXT will also begin to air both hours on the USA Network. Here's what took place on last night's show. The show kicked off this week with a big heavyweight tilt between Keith Lee and Dominik Djokovic. This match also received a little bit of a build-up via Kenny Omega's Twitter feed this week as well. Djokovic responded to Kenny Omega's comments about NXT's roster being developmental talent with the following tweet. Keith Lee and Dominik Djokovic have a long history with each other and have faced each other in singles action 17 times dating back to 2016. On NXT programming, however, this was their third singles match against each other. They went to a double countout in February. Djokovic defeated Lee in August, and now Lee has defeated him after picking up the win last night. So with the big men now 1-1-1 against each other in NXT, it's possible we could see them face off again, but it's also possible that Big Keith Lee might move closer to an NXT championship match with the win last night. Next up, we had Dakota Kai returning to the ring after being on the shelf for 9 months with a torn ACL. Tainari Conti took the early advantage on Dakota as well, but the captain of Team Kick would fight back with her signature offense. After delivering several kicks to her opponent, Dakota would pick up the win with a GTK, a go-to kick. A rematch from last week would headline the portion of the show to air on the USA Network. The stakes were higher this week, however, as William Regal announced the winner will earn an NXT Championship match against Adam Cole. Riddle and Dane went through tables, walls, and battled throughout the arena, but in the end, Riddle would lock in a Fujiwara armbar and get the submission. The win earns Riddle an NXT Championship match against Adam Cole, which will take place next week on the first episode of NXT to go head-to-head with AEW Dynamite. NXT champion Adam Cole came out to confront Riddle after the match, but he too quickly found himself in Riddle's Fujiwara armbar. If Cole finds himself in the same situation next week, it's quite likely that the original bro will become the new NXT champion. Next up, it was Rhea Ripley in singles action, and Ripley is an intimidating, powerful woman, and she showcased this last night, defeating the former Lacey Lane, who is now wrestling as Kaden Carter. Ripley dropped a match to Shayna Baszler last month via DQ, but the 22-year-old is looking like she has a bright future in both NXT and on the NXT UK brand, where she recently avenged a loss to Piper Niven. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch picked up a win for the second night in a row. They defeated the French-Canadian team of Chase Parker and Matt Martel. Burch and Lorcan also picked up a win on 205 Live this week, defeating the team of Toni Nese and the current Cruiserweight champion Drew Gulak. So it looks as though the move of the Cruiserweight division and 205 Live under the NXT umbrella is likely going to work out well for Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. Next up, it was Cameron Grimes versus Raul Mendoza. And for the second week in a row, Cameron Grimes picked up a win on NXT programming. His victory wasn't quite as easy as his one from last week, however. On the September 18th episode, Grimes defeated Sean Maluda in quick fashion with a double foot stomp. Grimes attempted to do the same this week to Raul Mendoza, but Mendoza was ready for it. It was a closer match this week for Grimes, but the end result was the same, a win with a standing double foot stomp. After making it to the finals of the NXT Breakout Tournament, but losing to Jordan Miles, formerly known as ACH, it looks as though Cameron Grimes is working his way up the NXT rankings. United Kingdom champion Walter challenged Kishida to find 2 partners and take on his 3 teammates in Imperium this week. Kishida would bring on Tyler Breeze and Fandango as his partners. This match came about after the members of Imperium attacked Kishida's scheduled opponent last week before the match could begin. Kishida then confronted the stable, saying they were taking up his time. This week, Kishida would pick up the win over Imperium with a bridging pin on Marcel Barthel. Quickly after the match, however, Walter blindsided Kishida with a big boot. Despite the loss, Imperium would stand tall to end the show. One has to wonder, however, when are we going to see a one-on-one match between Kishida and the United Kingdom champion, Walter? As for Chris Jericho's response to this match, he offered up only the following on Twitter, noting he is not impressed with Walter's ring name. I'm Ian Carey, reporting for SEScoops.com.